Hello and welcome to another episode of Cosme Commentary, episode 19, where we look to make football fun again. Keep in mind that we recorded this before Arsenal played Frankfurt and Emery got sacked, so just keep that in mind. We also welcome our first female special guest, Gosia, for the show. We talked about who's in greater crisis, Arsenal or Everton, and Cos made the great prediction that Emery would be the next manager sacked. We talked about a lot of things Arsenal, a lot of things Everton, what Arsenal need, what's going on with Everton. Then we talked about the rest of the league, about what would happen if Liverpool just left. Is Kante the league's purest soul? Is VAR just moving the goalpost? And should fans vote for decisions made by referees? So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So back into the Premier League again. The international break has been completed, and Mourinho has started us off this week. It was kind of strange, the whole situation where you had obviously the whole Pochettino out, Mourinho in situation, and then the first game was Tottenham against West Ham, and it didn't disappoint. They got off to a flying start.
Oh, they were in a good mood, weren't they?
Definitely in a good mood.
Very good mood.
They weren't in that good mood when the West Ham scored the second goal. They were really
In case
unhappy.
you're not familiar with that voice, just introduction to my wife, Gosia. Joining the first female debutant on the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
But
hello and welcome.
Well, back into the game. Did you actually watch any of this? Cause the goals.
I saw the goals. Yeah. No, but I think after West Ham got their second goal, I still think they're in a good mood.
You Tottenham?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're like it was a bit of relief.
It was just a relief to get a win on the road. After not winning on the road for such a long time.
It was 11 months, I think. It wasn't. Yeah. They hadn't won since January away from home.
Which kind of ties into the Champions League match against Olympiacos, which they were at home. And Mourinho wasn't happy when they were 2-0 down.
Yeah. Well, that happened.
He started yelling.
Yeah, we had the midweek games already. The Champions League game. So we had the Premier League and the Champions League. And Tottenham... It almost looked like they were going to be 2-3-2 results in completely opposite fashions. In the first game, they flew to a 3-0 lead, and then West Ham scored 2 late goals. One very late goal, 96th minute. And in the Champions League, it was the other way around. They conceded 2 goals in, the first 12 minutes or something like that?
Or half an hour.
Half an hour.
So that, yeah.
Well, definitely within the first half hour. Then they scored just before half-time.
Yeah, then Mourinho should be really happy with.
Yeah, well, he would have been happier. He actually made a substitution after half an hour.
Did he?
He did, yeah.
Well, before the half hour.
Ericsson came on.
Yeah, for Eric Dyer.
Yeah.
And he actually publicly apologised to Eric Dyer for taking him off after... it's one of those apologies, though, which is sort of a... Is it really an apology when...
Well, he's sorry, but he's not sorry.
Yeah, it's basically what he was saying.
So I'm sorry, but I had to do it.
Yeah, it's like sorry, but it wasn't like I'm sorry, but like we needed Ericsson on and someone had to come off, and it was a tactical thing. It was like no, it's like I'm sorry, I had to take you off. That was pretty much what he said.
Why was Ericsson not even starting?
I think
he's trying the players. Like he's trying to suss out who's gonna pick out for him.
Yeah.
But I also think Ericsson, because of the whole, is he gonna move? Is he gonna stay? Mourinho said while he was a pundit that he would just let Ericsson go if he was the Tottenham manager. This was well before he knew that he was going to become.
Well, I guess he would operate under the thing that if you're not fully committed, you can leave. That's how, I think I could imagine that's how he would want his players to be fully committed.
Which isn't a bad philosophy, honestly.
No, it's not.
Did you mention that Mourinho was the guy who told that he won't work with the guy who
No.
cheated on
So
his
that
wife?
was I remember Mourinho saying this was with Giggs at Manchester United, because Manchester United was the caretaker manager. That's what this is a reference to. But I don't think this has much to do with this situation.
No, sorry.
No, it's just, that's fine. So
I thought that he has like some good.
no, that's completely different. It's completely unrelated. Ryan Giggs, who's
It's a little related.
I mean, like about the
We're talking about his
loyalty.
trust.
oh
issues.
right, yeah. So I guess that it is in the sense that he wants people to be trustworthy. Although Eriksen's commitment and trustworthiness, I think it's a bit of a stretch putting those two together. I don't think Eriksen is quite Ryan Giggs or John Terry for that matter. But moving on from that, crisis mode has entered.
Crisis mode.
Well, obviously we had the whole situation.
After two losses, if a good team loses 2 in a row, it's crisis.
Yeah.
We're always in,
won.
We're always in crisis.
Well, sorry. After they lose one game, they're on the verge of crisis, and in the second game, then they are in a crisis. So, and so at this point, there's probably 10 managers in the Premier League who are in the crisis.
Well, I think Arsenal is probably leading the way at the moment.
Nah, Everton's definitely leading the way.
No, well, based on expectations.
Even so,
And
Everton's leading the way.
Look, Arsenal's the most entertaining, so.
Well, Arsenal have this sick situation at the moment. Like, jokes aside, they've got this real toxic atmosphere at the club at the moment, where
When they didn't have.
well,
the fans are so entertaining.
well, to answer that question, it was a slow, steady development. It wasn't always like this. Arsenal used to be content. They used to be the most content fans in the whole of the Premier League, and I think that added to their consistency. But then, because they knew that they were buying a stadium, they had the
Well, they understood why they couldn't really fund new signings and strengthening the squad.
Yeah,
because they had to put funds into their stadium, but now that's kind of over now.
Well, that's the thing.
They want the trophies to return.
There was that stage where they no longer were paying off the stadium, so that they bought. I can't remember.
Well, it's reasonable. Like if you're an
Sanchez.
Arsenal fan, you'd reasonably expect at that point you'd be making some pretty solid signings.
Well, they did.
Well,
they bought Sanchez around that time.
Yeah.
I think that was the first one. I think I don't know. Giroud was in there, and they had some.
Who?
Giroud.
Olivier Giroud.
Yeah. And then they.
But it didn't work for them.
Well, it
Yes,
did
it didn't.
kind of.
No, it didn't.
Because
You know why?
they started winning FA Cups again.
Yeah,
They
well,
won 3 in a row.
Well,
They don't care about FA Cups.
They do. They do. But
They do, but
that's all they have.
But the league, they did not progress. Or, they kind of progressed a bit, and then they just went back to fourth.
That's the progress getting in.
Yeah, they got to third and then back to fourth. That's pretty much the progress they made.
I don't think they ever fixed their defensive issues. I think they still haven't. That's been their problem all this time. Like, we signed Mesut Ozil, we'll sign Sanchez, all these guns and creative players that will bring the crowds in, but they didn't actually sign any. Not A, sign good defenders, but B, change their style of play to not concede goals.
Well, it's not even the defenders.
Well, they have to change the whole.
Well, it's either the defenders or the style of play.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you have to play if you
combination
know
of
that
both.
your defense is bad. You have to
you
play
got to change
to,
something.
But you have to if you change the player, that won't change the whole team.
Yeah.
Because you have to change the way you play.
Well,
for the defenders to actually defend.
I mean, I don't want to keep using Liverpool as an example, but using Liverpool as an example. No, I mean it's a great example though, because they had a terrible defense under Klopp. Oh, actually under Rodgers, and then Rodgers
when they sign in Virgil and he actually manages everyone in the back.
And the keeper does that too. So
but that was the
leader in the team.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I remember you saying that, and it is a good example. I'll give that to you.
Yeah.
But Klopp actually was saying that, they were saying in the earlier days, he needs a goalkeeper, he needs a centre back, and Klopp was basically saying, well, I'm not going to buy someone just because you're telling me to. I'm going to wait until I get the guy I want.
Yeah.
And he did, and he got Van Dijk, and he got Alisson. and they've just been absolutely fantastic.
And
they've made a huge difference at that
Yes,
defense.
because they manage the back.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole team is working with them.
And
not just
the physical presence of Van Dijk also helps, I think. Just having a guy, I mean, that's not only good on the ball, but also intelligent and everything, but also just physically powerful, tall, can jump, just dominant, he can just...
No, he's a commanding defender.
Yeah.
He's in the right spots, he wins headers, he tackles, he does everything.
Yeah.
And he scores goals, and then he wins the whole thing.
With the Ballon d'Or. Has the Ballon d'Or happened yet? I think
it hasn't happened yet. Apparently Van Dijk is the favourite for it.
Yeah, he is.
But it's a fast anyway. I don't really care about the Ballon d'Or.
But he won the best player.
I do.
They've got all these
I like the idea of the Ballon d'Or, but when it's the same person always winning, Messi or Ronaldo all the time, it's like, come on,
Well,
I mean, if they deserve it, but sometimes I just think it's...
No, well, look, the Ballon d'Or, the thing I've got against it is that it's always this... It's essentially a popularity contest. It literally...
Yeah,
it's literally who... The players and the coaches... I can't remember who votes on it, but I think it's the captains and the coaches
so that's how it works,
of teams and things like... And officials, I think, as well, vote for who they think. And usually it's sort of like... stalls the year. There's the leftover sentiment from the year before. So, for example, the fact that Salah's even in contention at the moment is kind of slightly ridiculous because he's been nowhere near the best players over the last 12 months. I think it's
fair enough.
He's been he had a great season. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but these are elite play. When you've got Lewandowski scoring, 60 goals in a year, and and Messi, Suarez, and all these other crazy goal scorers, and assists as well, things like that. Even Mane's outperforming Salah quite considerably this season.
At this moment, he is.
It's just sort of, I don't know. It's a bit of an insult to the whole thing, but. Putting all that aside, Arsenal terrible. Arsenal this week, they went 2-0 down, or was it 1-0 and then they came back?
I think it was 2-1 down. They were 2-1 down against Southampton at home.
So they
needed a last minute equaliser just to get the draw.
And that's another very late goal, also in the 96th minute.
At least they got it though.
Yeah,
you've got to be grateful.
They went behind twice. First a Danny Ings goal, Lacazette equalised, then Ward-Prowse from the penalty spot. Although the penalty was saved, but he got the follow-up.
Did he?
Yeah, well...
The follow-up is always...
Yeah, the keeper sort of parried it and no one really followed it in except for Ward-Prowse, and he had all the time in the world, and poor keeper. And then Lacazette with a second equaliser, which he didn't even celebrate. It's gone to that point now. Very toxic atmosphere.
Well, that's saying a lot, isn't it? They've probably lost a bit of confidence in the manager.
Oh well,
players. I mean, it's not a good place to be.
Well,
clearly, it's not a good place.
The way I look at Arsenal right now is it's not a good place for anyone to be. Not the players, not even the fans, not the coach, because the fans are just. Who was it? Someone said, if you had a Klopp, you'd want him fired or something along those lines.
Or to the Arsenal fans.
Yeah.
In the early days, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It depends how... They're very impatient, aren't they? How long's Emery been there?
Not even...
This is his second
season.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. And he also improved last season on the previous season. He got him within a whisker of making Champions League. Arguably, he should have made it.
It is a very toxic place.
And now it's just...
They want quick results.
But they told me about the mentality.
Yeah.
So they don't have the mentality, the winning mentality, because they always struggle.
Are we talking about the players or the fans?
No, the players.
The players. Yeah, well...
Fans are...
Yeah, the fans are just a bit of a...
The fans want, results.
Yeah.
And because that's what you expect from you.
But they've got... So the thing that's really propelling this terrible toxic culture is they've got this program called Arsenal Fan TV, right? And it's sort of the official fan channel. It is
so entertaining. I recommend everyone watch it. If you want to see fans just absolutely lose their nutter, just watch that. Watch Arsenal Fan TV. It's amazing.
It's so basically.
Does every team in EPL has it?
No, it's just
Arsenal. But I don't watch it when they win. I just watch it when they lose.
And basically, they get their most views when Arsenal do badly.
Yeah, that's what I watch.
They're basically encouraged by Arsenal doing badly, and for them it's bad.
But that's silly.
Yeah, and this is called Arsenal Fan. You know, it's so toxic. It is just. It actually.
It's like poking them to do bad so they can have more views.
They're basically like prodding them with a cattle prod, electrocuting them and telling them to perform better. It's just they're not going to do well until they fix that. So that for me is no matter what they do with the manager, no matter what they do with the players, if they don't fix that, it's not going to work.
How do they fix that? They got to, because if they start winning, right, it's not going to be entertaining.
Well.
You're not going to see happy fans. Oh, we won. We played well today. No one's going to watch that. Well, people are going to watch it when they go, "I want to win. This is terrible." You know, people want to. People want to watch other people lose it. That's what it is.
But that's other people. Like as an Arsenal fan, you shouldn't be enjoying when your team loses.
No, but I'm saying like it's more popular.
Oh yeah, of course. You know? But if you want your team to win.
Yeah, but
so
as well, like motivational things are really good to watch. Like if you see that someone is cheering up the other person, it's really entertaining as well.
And now,
is this how to fix it?
Well, not to use Liverpool as an example again, but it is again the perfect example. No, but it really is a great example.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that time?
I'll be the judge
at the beginning of Klopp's tenure, right?
Liverpool vaguely. Yeah.
No, the Liverpool fans. The Liverpool fans weren't happy, right? You know, like Rodgers got out.
They expected Rodgers to improve the team. It didn't happen.
Okay,
for whatever reason. Not saying it's his fault.
But you remember a specific game against West Brom, right? They went down to West Brom. I don't know. They were like 2 goals down.
Was this under Klopp?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they equalised very late on. And then at the end of the game, you know, it ended up 2-2 at home right, against West Brom, who were at the time, I'm pretty sure, I think they might have gone relegated that season.
Oh God.
But he got the players and acknowledged the crowd. He went up with the team and just sort of like, you know, big cheer to the crowd and to say, thank you, you got us that point, basically, right? And people were laughing at Liverpool at that stage. They were saying, what are you doing? You're celebrating a draw against West Brom. How low is this club gone? Blah, blah, blah.
Which people? Was it the fans or was it...
Both, right? So you had a few people from Liverpool, but there were fans at Liverpool that went, okay, like, you know, like, I appreciate that.
Well, so there's
acknowledged.
Well, that's the thing. There's everyone, like every fan is different as well. You got groups of fans that will perceive that as celebration, and you got other fans that will say, be appreciative of what they did.
But it wasn't always like that because before that,
some fans are more patient than others. They understand. Some fans understand.
No, but you want to be included.
But you want to start it because before that game, right? There was a game where Klopp was saying that, you know, they fell behind or something like late on. They conceded a late equaliser, and then for the last 20 minutes, then the crowd was basically silent and, like, you know, people were like leaving early and stuff like that. And Klopp said, like at the press conference, you know, I've never felt so like alone. You know, basically saying the crowd wasn't with us, right? And it was like it's like saying, guys, like, you know, you've got your bit to play as well, right? It was he actually changed the culture of the fans as well.
Well, he's changed the culture of the entire club.
Exactly.
This is his club now, basically. He doesn't own it, but this is his club.
This is Liverpool.
No, but this is the difference how you approach people. It's the same, like, if you talk, like, just in everyday life. You can approach and get offended, or you can try to work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I think is Arsenal's next signing needs to be: a crowd manager and someone to
cheerleader.
not. They need like a. I was going to use a very, very bad example, but someone to inspire the crowd, someone with real charisma. But that is not not Arsenal fan TV.
If said
and someone to get Arsenal fan TV, just
if said person was to actually do something like this, I would be very, very afraid if the direct rivals of said Arsenal team. Well, they're what they're going to cop is unspeakable.
But I think that's enough said about Arsenal and their situation at the moment. I mean, they're I think the most toxic fan base at the moment.
Well, one of the most toxic. We haven't researched every fan
But
base.
the sack race, leading the sack race,
it's got to be Emery. Based on expectation, based on where he's, it's got.
I think Everton's leading the sack race, and the reason I say Everton's leading the sack race is because whatever situation Arsenal.
No, they are the most disappointing team at the moment.
Arsenal?
No, Everton.
Well, Everton, yeah. And Arsenal. The other thing is that they
no
publicly
one expect anything from Arsenal.
Well, no. People are expecting them to at least challenge for the top four, but at the moment,
they do that.
Not at the moment. They're 8 points off Chelsea.
No, but during the game.
What do you mean during the game?
So
against top four teams?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've played top four teams generally at home this season. Other than they lost to Liverpool, they drew with United, they drew with Chelsea. They haven't played Man City yet, so
hopefully they get
hopefully they're okay after that game. They lost to Leicester, so it's. Look, and they drew with Tottenham, but like all these teams that they've sort of been drawing with are behind them in the table at the moment. So,
yeah, but they're still they're still Arsenal.
Well, look, I don't think they're doing that badly because Everton is doing much worse. And
it's a very strong league, and then I think the fans forget that it is very competitive. The league is very strong,
and Arsenal have played basically the top six, other than Man City, I think, or the traditional quote-unquote top six.
So basically,
and Leicester,
the majority of Leicester's, so the majority of their fixtures have been against the highest of quality opposition in the league, right?
Now looking at Everton,
just to finish that.
Oh
point,
no,
right? They've had very tough opposition, right? They haven't gotten the best results. Because of that, now they've dropped confidence.
Yes.
And now they're drawing games against the likes of Southampton at home, which they need a last-minute goal. So now this is spiralling out of control when it probably shouldn't be.
Well,
I agree. Yeah, because if you play with someone really because you both said that EPL this season is going crazy, like all the team.
Well, everyone's
dangerous.
picked up. Yes. Everyone's just getting better and better.
So if you play at top 4 teams or top 6 teams, then you lose your confidence that you can be near them because they playing so good when you're at the same level.
Well, to look at the table, just to give a bit of perspective, Wolves in 5th are as close to Man City in 3rd as they are to the relegation zone. So,
oh my god, that's ridiculous.
It's very competitive. Very competitive.
Chelsea have a 7-point gap from Wolves, and Wolves are closer to West Ham in 17th than they are to Chelsea in 4th, and Wolves are 5th. So there's 6 points between 5th and 17th, and the top 4 has a 7-point gap, and Liverpool has an 8-point gap over the chasing pack.
Yeah, well, Liverpool's just run away with it.
So you've got this little
completely run away. They don't want to be part of that league. We just want to be free.
Well, they want to do the club league.
We don't want the chaos. We're just going to win, right?
They still remember the 13-game winning streak from Man City and think, we can't let this happen again. We have to do more. Yeah. We can't stop now.
Well, they did well last season. They didn't big draw too much, which is ridiculous.
They drew 6 games and that was too much.
Yeah,
and they lost 1.
In any other season,
what a disaster!
In any other season, they would have been champions.
Yeah,
they had two.
Well, look, other than the previous season.
Well, the Premier League had 2 champions that season. I'm sorry, but I know the trophy can only go to one team, but Liverpool played like champions.
Yeah,
it was a crazy title race, that one.
Yeah, that was intense. But now it's a new one, and
Leicester and Chelsea are playing very good.
Yet they're still so far behind. It's just incredible.
I don't know how seriously to take them, but at least they could finish second.
Well, actually, on that note, Chelsea played Manchester City. That was their first sort of big test since they gathered a bit of momentum. They looked like they were potentially going to upset. They scored the first goal. Kante, it was just when I see him smile, it just makes me just glow on the inside.
Does it? Yeah.
I don't know. He just seems like such a pure guy.
A lovely man.
Yeah, he just looks like a guy that would.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of jokes going around. I don't know if it's true or not. How nice he is, but he's just I don't know. Gosia, you got anything to say about Kante?
Yeah, monk.
Oh, he could look like a monk.
It's a jungle out there. And his pure smile.
Yeah, and we've been watching a lot of Monk lately.
The documentary. And just the pure smile.
I have no idea what monk is. I just thought of like a Buddhist monk or something. He just Kante just dressed up as a monk.
Maybe he.
It suits him, I reckon.
Yeah, well, he can meditate a lot. That's why he has this
I think of him as the silent type. So
yeah,
he can have like inner strength from it.
But anyway, he's the pure soul. He scored the first goal. He's been scoring. He's scored 3 now this season. So under Lampard, everyone's just scoring goals,
which is great.
Yeah,
that's why you want to watch it.
Unfortunately for Chelsea, they then conceded 2. It didn't take too long. De Bruyne equalised pretty soon after, deflection goal, and then they finished it off with a I can't remember who scored the winner, and they had a third goal, but it was ruled off for
VAR plays every game. You know, they have an impact.
Yeah, VAR has to be part of everything.
Yeah,
and this week I don't think they did anything too bad.
Man City loves VAR, doesn't it?
Well,
they just like lose
VAR's
it every single time.
working against them, I think.
Yeah, this season.
Well, it's killed them a lot, yeah. But it didn't cost them in this one.
I was thinking about this earlier in the week. VAR is like, you know when you play a card game like poker or something, or blackjack, right? But the dealer just chooses not to take the joker out. and you get dealt a joker, and you've got to say, hey, come on, mate, give me a proper card. That's what VAR is. VAR is just the joker in the whole pack.
I feel like
that's all they are.
I feel like VAR it's like the same metaphor. You got the dealer, but the dealer occasionally looks at the card that is coming next and says, "Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you this card instead." Yeah. It's like, okay, you're going to get a straight flush. No, that's too much.
It's like give you. It's manipulation. That's what this is.
And the thing is, right? There's still human error involved. Well, but now they're sort of picking and choosing which way the human error goes, and until they have consistency, people are going to be angry.
Well, it always will be one side which is angry and one side which is happy for VAR. There has to be like that. It's always with even with the normal referee decisions, it's like that.
Yeah.
One side is happy, one other is not.
That's what I mean. And the same thing with these offside rules. They're just changing where the line is. Like it's still going to be.
I still don't understand the handballs.
Yeah, no one understands the handball rule, but
like going.
If it touches your hand and then it's a goal, then it's a handball. If it touches your hand and it's not a goal, then it might not be.
So wow.
Yeah, that's the rule.
It's like if it's defender.
I love subjective rules. Don't
you? Yeah, no.
It's very subjective.
But I mean, technically, it makes it completely objective because once it's a goal, and then any touch of the hand, it's like gone. Whereas the other one sort of the hand was in a natural. Yeah, the other one's subjective. Yeah, the defending one where it's like it was a natural position.
Maybe we should have more subjective rules. Like maybe make every rule. Yeah, just have the crowd go nuts at the ref. Storm the pitch.
Have the crowd vote.
How do you count it?
So you tell me you got 40,000 home fans, 5,000 away fans.
Well, it's home advantage for a reason.
And everyone will have like red and green button, and press it.
But they have to say. I mean, there would be a slight bias in there.
You get the one home fan who's honest. Everyone just belts the crap out of him.
Oh my god.
They got hospital. They got the ambulances waiting outside, but they can have it done to like a ratio of some sort, but it doesn't make sense because every home fan will just say, well, my team's decision. No, it's our way. But it would work out if there's any doubt among the fans, you know, and it's like, all right, going the other way, you know. So you got to train your home fans to all be unanimous and say no. It's like that. It's like cricket. Everyone has to appeal together to convince the umpire that it's a wicket. But Manchester City did get the job done. In the end, they sort of cruised to it. Chelsea looked on top at the beginning, but too much. There's still a big gap. Chelsea does not have a defence at all. If they need to defend, it won't happen. I can't imagine a situation.
Well, they attempt to defend, yeah,
but
it's not really effective at the moment.
It's kind of Delicht defending.
But they're still getting the results.
They are.
They're making up for it.
But as we looked at before, they haven't played the tough teams, and every time they've played a tough team, they've sort of run them close, but they always lose just about. They even lost to Manchester United twice already. The first one, fair enough, it was the first game. Then they lost in the cup.
Yeah.
And it was.
But they're still a threat.
Oh, of course. But the other team now, arguably, all right, Cos, where do we put Leicester now? Because last week,
Leicester, yeah.
You're saying how seriously do we take them?
How seriously do we take them? I would like to think that they could win the league.
No, they won't.
Yes, we said that last time. We said this last time. And,
they won't win, but they still.
But last time they were actually winning the league.
Yeah.
Now they're chasing.
Mate, there's a lot of time to go. They've got the best defence in the league, and they've improved since the start.
That's true.
But no, look, I don't think they'll win the league. Liverpool's when they won the league, the top six weren't at their best.
Yeah.
However, that's not to diminish what they achieved. However, this Liverpool side now is winning every game.
Well, this Leicester side is better than the team that won. Better than that Leicester side that won. That Leicester side that won, I think, eventually got 82, 84 points or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. They got over 80.
Basically, one of the lowest totals in the Premier League era to win the title.
But still, for them to get 80 points, that's amazing.
No, that was amazing. Yeah. It was an amazing effort. But I guess the reason why I brought that up is that they could probably get more points than they did in this season.
No, I'm tempted to agree with that.
I can see that happening.
I can see that happening as well.
And so take Liverpool out, right? Say Liverpool's not in the equation. We've got Leicester, Manchester City and Chelsea battling for the title. Who wins?
Leicester, Man City.
You'd
still have to go for
City. Yeah.
City. Yeah, so
you'd still have to say City.
They're more organised for me.
But
like Leicester's weird kid. It's like they can't win.
We haven't seen enough from Leicester yet to really say, are they going to sustain it with a team like City?
Yeah, we haven't seen what injuries are going to do to them yet.
But City, without Laporte, they are dropping the odd game. They are they look dominant most of the time, but they'll have a game where they just drop one.
It's kind of like a reminder of when Guardiola first came to City, and they didn't have, $60 million defenders, and they couldn't quite play the passing game as well as they like to play, and now they're getting exposed at the back because they just don't have that.
And we should mention Chelsea since you actually said Chelsea.
Did I say Chelsea?
Yeah, you included Chelsea.
Yeah, well,
Chelsea.
Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea.
I was just going to say I don't think Chelsea will win just because of their defence.
Yeah,
I think that it's for it to be that leaky. It's you're gonna drop points.
I haven't seen them beat a top team yet.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So out of those three, you'd say Man City, Leicester, Chelsea in that order at the moment.
Yeah. In which case,
that's not to diminish Chelsea. They're playing pretty well.
which then takes us.
All those three teams play very well,
and they're all blue.
That's true. But like Leicester is like for me the team that you can't predict what's gonna happen. They can start losing, or they can start winning.
Well, I think at the moment they're actually the most consistent because their defense is so good.
Their defence is good. What's his midfielder's name? James Maddison. That young English midfielder playing for Leicester. He's pretty good. I like him.
Well, on what Gosia was saying about them being inconsistent, because they've lost twice this season, once to Liverpool, once to Manchester United.
Away from home.
So both away from home. And they drew their first 2 games of the season. One of them was Chelsea.
Well, that's what I mean. They started a bit slower.
And the other was Wolves.
They've grown into the season.
And they've won every other game. So they're actually one of the more consistent teams at the moment. But there is that sort of... You don't know how it's going to continue. That's the thing.
Because, like, for me at least, that like other seasons they weren't even close to be like.
Are we talking below the top 4?
No, I mean like to the race for the title.
Right. Yeah.
And then now they actually
Yeah.
after they won, like I know that there was the season they won, and then like after that they weren't even.
They went into sort of this, how would you say, like an abyss of managers, which is sort of where we're at now in the Premier League, where having a good manager trumps everything else.
It's huge.
Because at the moment, Liverpool and Man City arguably have the 2 best managers in the league. And when I say arguably, I mean it's a pretty easy argument to win.
Well, no, I mean the argument is who's better out of them. Yeah. That's the argument. Otherwise, that in itself is not an argument.
After that,
I wouldn't say any of them can be better, because it depends with the team you're working with. They have to work. Oh,
but you have to build the team. That's what they've both done.
Yeah, but they have to like, you know what I mean? It's like if the club would take over the Man City, he won't perform as good as Guardiola.
With those players?
Yes. Because he had
the Guardiola's players, so...
Yeah, but that's what I mean, like, if they will swap, they won't perform as good as each other at the same...
Well, on that note, because looking at Manchester City and Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
And like you say, Klopp has players that he wants.
Yes.
Guardiola has players that he wants. Guardiola probably...
They suit the system that they play.
But Guardiola, of the players that are in the team, there's probably... like maybe 70% of them are his players.
Oh, that's still very high.
Whereas in Klopp's team, or of the whole squad, they're probably 70%. So I'm saying there were still players left over from the previous squad. You got Aguero, you got Silva, Fernandinho. There were a few others in there as well. But like they're still key players for the team, right?
Well, those players can play your system, essentially.
Whereas Klopp's team is basically entirely his players. The only players left over from the old guard, Henderson, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the main one.
Is Milner?
Milner was
Milner was there.
Yeah, Milner was there. True.
I like Milner.
I like him as well.
Very versatile player.
Lovren now has become the second choice centre back, so first choice next to Van Dijk because Matip is still injured. I think Gomez or something like that. So
he's playing well now.
He scored the Champions League.
Yeah, Milner.
Lovren.
Yeah, Lovren scored a goal. Yeah, it was a header. But they've got great options now at the back for Liverpool.
Yeah.
But I guess that in the end, you come to think of it, they both probably got a similar. They got 80% probably of their players that they've brought in, and they've created this team. And basically, every player that they've signed has been at least useful to the team. Whereas you look at...
Well, that's what you call a very well-run club.
And
players coming in, doing, contributing.
And
positive.
good recruitment.
Good recruitment, that's exactly right, yeah. Recruiting is key. It's like you can have a great manager, but if the manager and the recruiting department aren't aligned, you're not going to succeed. It's not going to happen.
It's like with the Spain League, wasn't it? Where they just put the good players and they think they will play well.
That's Real Madrid every season.
Real Madrid and Man United recently.
Yeah. So on that note, I mean, like looking at the other managers in the league now, and you start seeing a trend. Obviously, Leicester have Brendan Rodgers at the helm, who looks to be now.
Well, he's devised a plan that's working for the players.
He saw. In Leicester, he jumped at the opportunity. As soon as the manager got fired, I mean, he was doing good at Celtic. He was killing it.
Well,
and as soon as it went down, guys, I'm sorry, I can't say no to this. He saw the potential in the team. So, and I don't know how his recruitment's going to go, because when he was at Liverpool, his recruitment was hit and miss. But
was that because like I said, the manager and the recruiting weren't aligned at the time, or Liverpool had a thing where the recruiters and the owner, some of the football.
Yeah, it was a bit out of sync, so it's hard to really say how much of it was his fault. But now you look at, I mean, Chelsea are up there with Lampard, who's first season at a top club. We don't know how it's going to pan out, but at the moment, obviously, he's
well, everyone's smiling at Chelsea. That's all I know.
Wolves are in 5th. They've got
well, they've got a wealthy owner.
But the manager, I'm saying that
he's doing well. Yeah.
Is one of the most sought out. Everyone's saying, he's going to be at a big club soon.
Who's the manager there?
Nuno.
Nuno Espirito Santo.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I can never. Yeah, but I just love him because the one.
That sounds. Really,
it's very.
Espirito Santo is like a guy like.
He looks like a tan Santa
Claus.
I know
the one.
Yeah.
The beard, I know.
And
he's Spanish. That's not Italian. He is definitely Spanish. Because it is Espirito, not Spirito. So there's the E in front of it. So that is Spanish.
He looks like he'd also be a great hugger. Like, I feel like he'd give good hugs. That guy.
It looks like a teddy bear.
Yeah. I think it's also because he's all wearing like those jackets.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like
he
Aussie.
So cozy.
But he's arguably one of the top managers in the league.
He's doing very well. Yeah.
And he's smiling a lot.
Oh yeah. But
I haven't seen like
the way he strokes his beard though is just majestic. It's just
that's why he's Espirito
what do we
Santo.
do? Like he looks like
Santo
a wise
is
man.
Saint, isn't it? And Espirito is like a
he lives up to his name, doesn't he?
Awesome.
He just looks like a wise man. And then Sheffield is sort of the outlier here. We don't. I
love Sheffield.
We don't know what's going on there.
I mean, it was 3-3 against United, but
they're so good.
I like them. They're playing well.
I love Sheffield as well at the moment. It's not Sean Dyche at Burnley, is it?
Sean Dyche, isn't it?
Is it Sean Dyche at Burnley?
Pretty sure it is.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah. So
Burnley's not bad.
No, Burnley's people. They wrote off Burnley because they had a bad
Burnley,
start.
They get written off almost every season, and then they just don't play nowhere near the relegation zone.
But did Burnley play just the top team again in the beginning of the season?
I can't even remember, but all I know is that Burnley have been strong over the last 3 or 4 seasons, and when I say strong, I mean
for them.
No, I mean like Europa League contenders. You know, like they could get into the top 7.
They never made it though.
Yeah, they made the Europa.
Oh, they have.
Well,
they qualified.
No, they qualified, and then they got knocked out.
Huge. That's huge for them.
Yeah,
really. That's still.
And that's what threw them off last season. That's what made them start so badly, and then they recovered later on. People thought, they're going to get relegated, but no, they're much better than that. And then we've got Arsenal and Manchester United after those teams. So, in the context of all that, right, considering that those teams above them are playing basically expectation-free, nobody cares about how they do.
The fans care.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just happy to be where they're not, we should be doing better or blah, 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 whatever. This is great, blah, blah, blah. We're in the Premier League, they're happy with that,
We're in the Premier League and we're 7th. Is that where they are now, Sheffield?
Sheffield is 6th.
Oh my God, we're 6th. I mean, the amount of beers they're drinking, geez. Celebration. Those fans.
And let's not forget Tottenham as well in 10th, just behind Manchester United.
They're not happy.
10th.
No, they're happy now.
They're moving up. Look, Tottenham were next to Everton.
Pretty sure Tottenham will win. More
Speaking of great managers, we need to say Mourinho.
That's why Tottenham's just going to keep going up.
Yeah, Mourinho will be good for them.
There's no way that Mourinho misses out in the top 4 if he had a full season with Tottenham.
Okay.
And we're getting a down to 2 for a moment. We were making a substitution. And I'll just make sure that we're not down to thing. Brighton it's a bit further down. But anyway, so once you go further down, it gets a bit less thing. And then you get down to 16th and you have Everton.
And West Ham behind them.
So
This is one
two
crazy,
teams.
crazy league. This one.
Well, two teams you were expecting to do much. They were expecting to fight for the top four even this season. It was a bit unrealistic expectations. No, top six.
Everton.
They're looking to crack. Yeah,
Well,
crash
Everton's
into the
that
top
team
six.
that always signs a lot of players and takes a while to embed them in.
Well, I don't think they signed that many this season, but they still just have more players than they need. And then you get down to 16th, and you have Everton,
And West Ham behind them.
So
This is one
two
crazy,
teams.
crazy league. This one.
Well, two teams you were expecting to do much. They were expecting to fight for the top four even this season. It was a bit unrealistic expectations. No, top six.
Everton.
They're looking to crack. Yeah,
Well,
crash
Everton's
into
that
the top
team that
six.
always signs a lot of players and takes a while to embed them in.
Well, I don't think they signed that many this season, but they still just have more players than they need.
This is the most disappointing team in the league compared to where their expectations were and where they are now. This is a serious sacking opportunity here.
Well, it's not even just where they are now because the Premier League season it's got ebbs and flows. There's going to be weeks where you play tougher teams and easier teams. Everton is not in a. They're not about to go up. Let's just put it that way.
They are the way they're going down. If you hear the next fixtures they've got.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Everton plays second place Leicester away from home.
Yep.
Number one Liverpool away from home.
That's a loss. 2 losses there.
2 losses, almost guaranteed 2 losses there. Then they host Chelsea. Anything could happen there.
Anything could happen, but it's more likely a loss.
Yeah, Chelsea tend to beat teams that are in shaky form, and Everton definitely fall into that. Manchester United away from home, who have actually been playing well at home.
They've been playing well at home, and they've improved recently a little bit with their goal scoring.
But I'll say that's definitely a chance for Everton to turn things around after those 3 games.
It's a chance to get something.
Yeah.
I don't expect them to win.
And they'll probably
put
in
a draw.
Yeah, well, that's just it. And against Chelsea, it's sort of the same. They're at home. You expect them to put on a valiant performance there and possibly lose it at the death or something. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, then they play Arsenal at home. So, I mean, that's an opportunity as well. Who knows what's going to happen at Arsenal by that time as well. But I don't think Arsenal are going to get... I don't think Emery's going to get sacked, but I don't know. Arsenal fans.
You never know. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well,
I would not be surprised at all if he gets sacked.
Well, the week before they play Everton, they play Manchester City away.
Who's this?
Arsenal.
Oh, that is the game. That is the game.
And then
I can see it now.
Sorry, they at home they're playing that one. So
who's at home? Arsenal.
Arsenal's at home. Not that it matters, but
I can see a 4-0 defeat, and I can just see it. The writing's on the wall, man. The writing is on the wall. If they go down 4-0 to City at home, the chance will start. You're getting sacked in the morning, and then he will be sacked in the morning, and that's it.
I have to say, Pellegrini is probably also another top candidate for the sack race.
He's at West Ham, isn't he?
Yeah. Pellegrini. So he's got Chelsea away, then Wolves away. Then I don't think it gets easier because it's Arsenal at home.
Nothing easy.
I mean, it's an
tough
opportunity there. Then it sort of eases off. They've got Southampton.
But it's not easy for them.
Yeah, it's true. Liverpool.
These are not easy fixtures. None of these are easy.
I mean, look, it's the Premier League. No fixture is easy.
Well, that's the thing. You can't. No fixture's easy, but you got to find a way. And at the moment,
after that, every second week they play basically a top 6 club. So it's a bit of struggle town for West Ham down the line, and you just kind of wonder with Pellegrini. And I've always been quite critical of Pellegrini, even when he was at Manchester City.
He came after Mancini, didn't he?
Pellegrini, yeah. And he won with Mancini's team.
Yeah. Mancini let him know about it.
Yeah. He said, yeah, he won, but with my team.
I love it.
And he's still 100% true. He did not I don't think he had. He literally had the exact same squad.
He was like, yeah, he may have won, but this is still my team.
His first 11 consisted all of Mancini's players. So the team that Mancini built won the Premier League twice, just under different managers. But yeah, Pellegrini was always a disappointment to me, and I feel he's I don't know, like
he's kind of meeting your expectations at West Ham.
He's kind of. He's not meeting my expectations. He's going below my expectations.
Oh, he's below. Oh.
Yeah, no, West Ham should be doing much better.
You thought more higher of him then?
No. I thought higher of West Ham, not him. I was expecting him to do as badly as he's done. Maybe not even this bad. But he seems to. He reminds me of like a poor man's Wenger. Like because you know how Wenger would sort of be in those situations where he should be winning games. And then they just, they lose. It's like
there is a comparison.
If things were going too well,
there is a comparison.
Complacency kicks in.
Oh, there is a bit of a comparison there. Yeah,
and they even have like a similar like wrinkle features, but probably a similar age. Well, I think Wenger's a bit older, but I feel like they're the same age. But yeah, Pellegrini seems to always, when things are going decent, because that's the thing, things are never going well for Pellegrini. They're going decent, and then when that happens, they drop the ball a bit, and then the results drop. But then, like, he'll drag them up again, and then because he'll forget about it. He's no longer part of the conversation anymore, and then he'll start getting results again, and then when things aren't going so well, they drop off again. So Pellegrini is
very similar. Yeah.
But I don't really know what West Ham are expecting. They only just got back into the Premier League recently, and they're expecting to make top 6. I mean,
they're a big club, Mike. They don't like the new stadium. That's all right. Imagine that. Like even that's a disgrace. To move.
Yeah, to move to move to a bad stadium.
To move to a stadium that the fans just don't like.
West Ham.
That's just
it has more capacity, and it was for free, so that was the enticing part of it. I think it was a bad move.
But the community, because West Ham had at the Uptown Park or the Boleyn Ground, right?
Yeah,
whatever you want to
Upton
call
Park.
it. Well, whatever you want to call it. It's just two names of it. They had it was that ground was in that area of London where all the fans are. They could go to the pub and march to the game. That was like the community feel.
Well, that's West Ham in a nutshell.
That's West Ham, and they've lost that now because their new stadium is in a completely different spot.
Yeah,
they can't do that anymore.
Isn't it like
that to me, whilst it may be a good financial move, it's soul destroying. It
destroys the atmosphere.
It does,
and then you lose your home advantage. And then how are you going to convince the referee that your team deserves a free kick without the people pressing the button?
Well, maybe they need they got to.
Oh, they need the TV.
The TV, the VAR.
No.
Instead of
you can always storm the pitch, Mike.
Doing the West Ham TV like us. West
Ham fan TV to inspire the troops.
Well, they can do it now.
Imagine every club doing this. It'd be a ratings war.
Well, no, imagine just the clubs in London. Just the clubs in London.
But if they changed the stadium as the Arsenal did, so that's
it's different because they got it for free. They got it for free.
No, but Arsenal
still,
which makes it just sad.
Well, no, but the other difference is like Arsenal and Tottenham, but they built their stadiums in that area, like in the north of London.
Yeah. So
the fans are still able to have that.
Yeah, they've still got the same sort of group of people.
That's the key difference.
Yeah, this is sort of like a complete uprooting of. Yeah, they've basically lost the only weapon they had.
Yeah, well, because Upton Park, that was like a very in-your-face sort of stadium as well.
That was vicious.
It was vicious, and
yeah, well, they lost it. They lost it, and West Ham. I think their expectations are far too high. Everton, I think they're right to expect better, but that said, they are 3 points from Manchester United and Tottenham. They are not far away.
And that's the thing. Like you look at the position, but it's so close.
Exactly.
And same close to from the 5th to 7th.
They are closer.
Yeah.
They're closer to... They're as close to the top 6 as they are the relegation zone, even though they're in 16th place.
That's incredible.
And
yeah.
And that includes goal difference as well.
Who is in the relegation zone now?
Newcastle?
Newcastle's
we've moved on to the last of the batch. It is still Norwich, Watford, and Southampton occupying the last few spots. They all had different results on the weekend.
Is it 3 teams that going to be relegated?
3 teams.
Well, they are strong favourites.
I'm expecting Watford to go down.
Depending on what the managerial situation is.
Watford are going down. They've played the sack manager card. They brought in their ex, and they're still not working. They are gone.
If anything, it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so just to bring some light back to it, Norwich beat Everton 2-0, which is why it's such a disaster for them, even though their results haven't actually been that bad in context. But it's the Premier League, there's no time.
They beat the City, didn't they?
Norwich beat City.
They did beat City.
And now they've beaten Everton too, except they beat...
City threat to the blue teams.
But they beat Everton away from home, and they've lost, I think, every game away from home.
That's the key. That's a bad result for Everton.
But also, Norwich are getting players back, and you can see that people forget
they had a huge injury list.
Yeah,
most of their team was out.
And they forget that Norwich were really dangerous. They were dangerous last season in the Championship. They were dangerous when they first came into the Premier League. They were putting some moves together, but they were missing players. They're getting a few of them back. You can't just, not be firing and expect to beat them.
I think, and I'm going to say I was too quick to say Norwich are going down.
Oh well,
and even Southampton, it's too early. But Watford, I don't see a way back.
Well, Southampton, they pulled a draw from the jaws of a victory.
It was away from home.
It was away from home, but
they're better away from home.
They're up twice. And they threw it away twice, but arguably Arsenal, they're really hard to keep out.
Arsenal have a good attack.
And I think you got to give credit to Arsenal, even though it's Southampton. These guys are fighting for their lives. They're not actually a bad team, Southampton.
None of the team is bad in EPL.
You make a great point, and that's true as well, because if Emery had lost his players, they wouldn't have equalised.
Yeah,
would they? If the players were not playing for him, right, they would not have come back.
Yeah.
They came back. So obviously, they're showing that there's still some pride there.
And they've done it a lot this season, Arsenal. They've come back. They came back against Tottenham, 2-2.
Well, I think... I'm going to make a prediction who I think is going to get sacked first at the end of the show. But if they do sack him, they've bowed to the fans. And the pressure. That's all this is.
And they need to sack the fans first, I think. And they need to sack troops from...
you can't sack the fans.
They've got to sack Arsenal Fan TV. That's the first person they need to sack.
That's not a person.
No, they've got a group of people. But they've got the host, and he's always smug, and he's riley. One of their favourite the fans that they go to, troops... I don't know. He's got some sort of speech impediment or something. I'm not sure what the deal is with him, but he keeps saying blood and what is it? So blood,
sweat, and tears. And
no. Like he just throws in the word blood. It's like a tick. I don't know what it is.
Really? He wants blood.
No. He's saying, you know what I mean, blood. You know what I mean, blood. It's just it's no good blood.
It's like bro or something.
Yeah, he just throws it in there.
Or bruv as the English say.
And he is the most famous person in North London at the moment.
Troops.
Probably all of Troops.
Oh,
yeah.
Troops. Troopsy.
The most famous fan.
Let's Australianise this guy.
Troopsy. Yeah. But yeah, Watford got demolished 3-0.
Watford's going, but
they're going
how
down.
about Newcastle?
Newcastle had 2 wins in a row and they lost. So to Aston Villa to bring them closer. Aston Villa had just been.
They've been okay, Aston Villa.
No, because the reason I laugh at Aston Villa is so they beat Newcastle 2-0.
At home.
Yes, they were at home. The last few weeks though, so they played Wolves, they lost 2-1. They played Liverpool and lost 2-1.
But Liverpool 2-1 is just like you can You
Yeah.
can predict that
And
score.
They played well.
And the
against
week
Liverpool.
before, they played Manchester City and lost 3-0. So they just had these like relentless tough fixtures. And
Tough,
City,
but they played well against Liverpool.
well,
Aston
City
Villa.
was 0-0 at half time.
Yeah. So they've been playing pretty well, considering.
Exactly. And it's sort of, this win has sort of been coming. And unfortunately for Newcastle, they were the team that Aston Villa played after that run, after playing all these tough sides. So they were just desperate for a win, and they got it. And yeah, Aston Villa, I think, are quite safe as long as they don't go down the path of West Ham and think that they're bigger than they are. And
Oh, I don't think so. They've just come up. They're not gonna fall into that trap.
because when the expectations are too high, the pressure builds on the players, and it just gets really rough. It's hard to get results. But I mean, that's the wrap for the Premier League. Cos, you said you had a prediction for who's going to get sacked first.
Yeah, it will be Emery.
Drum roll. It's going to be Emery.
Absolutely.
It's going to be Emery.
Because even though I think that David Silva is and Everton are probably the most disappointing team right now, the amount of pressure the fans put on and the amount of tension, because Arsenal's a big club, right, the amount of attention they get in the press and everything like that, the pressure's on them
and the fans.
And I think that there is potential that they're going to make a very emotional decision, and he's going to go, which probably isn't correct, but
yeah,
that's just the way it is.
I think I'd agree with that. It's completely the wrong move. I think Emery's actually. I think teams right now could benefit from having a manager for longer than a season because
and you know what's going to happen? Pochettino's going to come in. It's going to be very funny.
Really?
Oh, there's that. There we go.
It's going to be very funny. I want the entertainment.
The crux of the joke.
Keep giving the entertainment. Don't sack Arsenal TV, because I do want this reaction, and then you can do whatever.
Do you think Pochettino will?
Oh no.
Oh, I reckon he will. They want him. They surely want him. He's a gun. He's a gun manager. He's a great manager. Who else who are you going to get?
There's rumours that Pochettino
Who's better out there?
is having chats with the backroom staff. And
right now, as a free agent manager, who is better than Pochettino?
have you taken Abdul's spot this week? Who is the better manager?
Who is better than Pochettino? When I'm chasing entertainment, I just become...
No, but it's a very good point.
I mean, look, they could wait until the end of the year because Allegri is taken a year off. He was a very good manager in his own right, but are they prepared?
We know where all Italians go though.
Chelsea, yeah.
Lampard's got
Lampard's not going
to get sacked.
No, he's.
Lampard has to get sacked.
I'm going to assume Chelsea's not available right at this moment.
Of course they're not at this moment, but by the time Allegri's ready.
I'll see. You reckon? It's just
Lampard
going to align.
Yeah, that's how it works. Abramovich.
That's why he took the you.
Abramovich has a thing for Italian managers.
Well, what other blue teams are there in England? I mean, Leicester's pretty safe. You got Man City's, but then Man City's
Everton, mate.
Yeah, see,
Everton, it's potential there.
But he's not going to go.
And Italy, they usually have the white shorts, don't they?
Alright, so Italian managers goes to blue team.
Oh well,
that's the joke.
It's just
because Chelsea have had a lot.
Colour.
Yeah, it's obvious. Like they have to do it. You know, they can't help themselves. They get drawn to it. It's like
it's subconscious.
I never understand why the blue is the Italian colour.
Yeah, is there?
Because it's
do you know?
Well, when Italy
because it's not on the flag.
No, yes, because when Italy was formed,
Yeah.
they had the like old monarchy as well,
Oh,
from Torino, and they wore blue,
Right.
so that it goes back to that sort of history.
Yeah, well, the Dutch.
Thank you.
I think that's right from memory, from what I've read, but do your own research.
Well, the Dutch are the same because they wear orange, but I think that's because there was some queen or something that had, I think, orange in her middle name or something like that.
Or something like it's to do with that.
And then and they made their colours orange because of that. And I love it because there's no one else really that wears orange, and it just stands out so much.
It's a terrible colour, but anyway.
It is.
I love it. Oh, anyway, but
I like oranges though. Good oranges. They're very healthy. Eat an orange. Yeah.
Yeah, get your vitamin C. But that will be a wrap
Likes it as well.
today.
Oh, yeah.
That's a wrap for today. So thank you for listening to this the crisis
Of managers,
episode.
yeah.
Crisis.
Well, it's about that time of season, really.
It is that time of season, and I think it's stirred up, especially with Pochettino leaving and Mourinho taking over. So
is that like a half a season right now? Or
not yet.
We're almost there.
13 games gone, so there's still
okay.
5 more games. No, 6 more games before we hit halfway. But don't worry, it'll be all over in 2 days in September. I mean December.
December.
Oh god, it's losing it. Because in December they play every half a day. It's just
Right at Christmas period. Yeah.
it's just a crazy period. And then Liverpool has the Club World Cup. Good luck to them. So thank everybody for listening. Thank you, Gosia, for coming in for
My pleasure.
making a debut. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast if you have not done so. Also check out our YouTube channel if you haven't done that. We have all the podcast episodes which are not on Podbean there. So all the older episodes. But thank you once again for listening, and we will talk to you next time.